Good morning. It's March 10th. You're watching the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump, and I am your host, Jose Galison, and this is the kitty of the day, Jeff, our fat, furry fella. Now, if you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday around 11 a.m., that's what we shoot for. I don't remember the last time we were even on time, but that's what we shoot for. Or if you just like seeing the kitties of the day, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications so you can see when we're going live and when I drop new videos. We'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing, right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
Crazy evil.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. What is today? Tuesday. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I hope you're having a nice productive morning. Getting some stuff done, or if not, we're about to get into it. We're going to learn some stuff today. We're going to go dig through some of the things. We'll be doing the morning dump. This is my info dump I do over here, stream, a hangout / info dump. We pick through the news and sometimes some olds. Typically, that's when the news is a little bit slow, but it has not been slow lately. So we have plenty to go through today. As always, we start off this show with a little icebreaker type content, the fun, funny, gem pop type thing. So we have a couple of those for you, a little bit on the fun side. And then we'll get into the foreign policy roundup. We almost have like 2 segments of foreign policy today. So we actually have a foreign policy. And then after that, we'll get into our main segments. The first segment being Nukes Imminent is the name of the segment, question mark. To be very clear, there's a question mark there. Then I'm definitely not saying they are imminent, but I'm questioning it. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much all Iran war segment. So talking about that again, which has been kind of the past week. That's been pretty much every morning dump. The first segment has been Iran war stuff, and then we'll get into Epstein investigations, which is kind of like as a general Epstein updates. There is weirdly enough, or oddly enough, some updates on some pretty substantive stuff. And then we have Iranian sleeper cells. And maybe we'll kind of talking about the, I don't know, it kind of speaks for itself, the idea of the terrorism that's going to pick up from Iran, whether that's real or imagined or some combination thereof. But we have plenty to go through. As always, I'll pop into the chat in between each segment and check in with you guys. Try to give everybody, their obligatory good morning. And then after that, you either got to catch my interest or catch my wallet. But yeah, but anyways, we got plenty to go through today. Let's go ahead and start off today. Oh, and I do want to remind you, as always, I try to timestamp this with relatively soon after the show. So if you do like to catch this on the replay, that way you don't have to listen back to the banter, or if you just want to pop from topic to topic, some people like that. But with that, let's go ahead and jump right into the icebreaker content, and then we'll say some good mornings to all you fine fellows. But let's jump right in. First icebreaker story of the day. Apparently, Trump's declassified the government's files on aliens and UFOs, but the DOJ has redacted all the parts where he molested the aliens. All right, that's obviously a stupid joke. This is from Clickhole on Twitter, for those who like stuff like that. And then moving on, this one is real, though. Apparently, Mark Wahlberg came to Shia LaBeouf's defense. We talked about this recently. I think we may have dug a little bit into this story that Shia LaBeouf called some homos gay. and because they were being all gay on him or something. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was being out of line. I think he was drinking or whatever. But I think the summation of the story was like literally it was like some gays were harassing him. I mean, Shia LaBeouf, and he's just trying to have a good time, and he's like, "Yo, leave me the fuck alone." And they kind of get into it. There's some sort of scuffle, if I recall. But I think they even are sitting in his lap. Like, like you see, they go through the comments of this story I'm about to go through with you guys. It's all quotes from Shia LaBeouf saying, "Be gay over there, don't be gay on my lap." So I think he was being harassed by a couple homos, which us handsome fellas out there in the world, we do have to deal with from time to time. But anyways, Mark Wahlberg's come to the rescue. Some of the negative backlash Shia LaBeouf got into for calling homos faggots. Which I wouldn't. You don't just go do that to anybody. I mean, obviously, if they're doing stuff like this, it's appropriate. You know, it's like, but you know, in civil society, we don't just run around calling gay people that. That's not nice. And besides, there's a difference between gay and faggot, anyways. But yes, I think it's fair if they're on your lap, if they're literally basically sexually assaulting you. I think it's okay. I think we give you a pass. And Mark Wahlberg came to the rescue here. Apparently now he's getting blasted for strongly defending Shia LaBeouf's homophobic behavior, obviously in scare quotes. LaBeouf was recently arrested after a gay man touched his leg and a fight broke out. Wahlberg supported LaBeouf's action. He said, if he's a homophobe, I'm a homophobe too, Mark Wahlberg said. Now, to be fair, I think this is like overly simplistic. This is like one of those clickbait titles. I think it was Mark Wahlberg. Like they're obviously kind of dumbing it down and not providing like any context. I think he means like that he'd be upset if he's essentially being sexually assaulted. So I assume if we dug into it, but who cares? This is just an icebreaker story. I just like that I think Mark Wahlberg, wasn't he like on, isn't there some tape of him beating up some gay guy or something like that? I swear there was something like that from like the 80s or 90s. Someone in the chat must know. Let me know. Moving on, last icebreaker story. Give me a second because, of course, StreamYard glitched up, and this last one's a video. What do we have here? We have, give me a second, of course. We have a goofy little moment between Donald Trump, Rubio, and Hegseth, which, I don't know, a lot of people give him a lot of crap about this. If anything, this just kind of feels like one of those moments where you're like, fuck, why did I say that? Like, that was really stupid. For example, you ever gone to this feels like, this reminds me of like that moment where you're like at McDonald's, like we're about to watch. Like, have this in your mind. Like the moment where you go to McDonald's or whatever, or some fast food place or whatever, and then as you're leaving, they go, drive safe, and then you go, you too. And you just go, fuck. That was dumb. That's kind of what this movie feels like. This is a dumb joke that a lot of people give him a lot of shit for. But anyways, let's watch it. It's just stupid. Here's Rubio and Hegseth and Donald Trump. Go ahead. Let's watch this together.
Is he better in Spanish or in English? I think he's better in Spanish. I mean, it's great.
Obviously referring to Rubio for the audio listeners there.
Pete, please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I only speak American.
That's all right. Speak Cuban.
That's
Which isn't even that. This is a sort of dumb joke I've done to my kids since they were like little. Like they'd be like, they'd say be trying to speak Spanish or something like, we can speak American in this car. So it is just a dumb joke, but it was a lot of people just kind of like, oh, it was a really, 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 really low tier dad joke. Like this is like toddler level dad joke, and yeah, it just doesn't look good. Just kind of, I just not the right audience. I don't know if does Hegseth have small children to give him an out here. I know we all like to make fun of him because he's kind of been a incredible douchebag since he's taken over as the Secretary of War. What was once called the Secretary of Defense, but it is bemoaning became the Secretary of War. But still, I don't know. This one, a lot of people get a lot of shit for this one. I think it's just a really dumb joke that after the fact you're like, oh, that was really fucking stupid. So, okay, whatever. Let's roll through the chat, say some good mornings, then we'll get into foreign policy. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Was that too ridiculous? I just thought it was a dumb joke. That was just really... I get where he's coming from, but not the time or place. Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good morning, good morning, good morning, that chick, Chris. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Kim. Man, I got a lot of ladies, don't I? Good morning, Jose and Hefe. Hit the like on your way in, folks. Yes, please hit that like button, everybody. Good morning, Retardo. Good to see you here. Good morning, Daz. Good morning. Good morning. Saying evening. I guess it kind of is. It's 12:10 where I'm at. Good morning, Beeb. Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate the repost. Good morning, Balake. It's another great episode of Gay Guy TV. Let's go. Good morning, OG Matzo Balls. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Marnamak. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, John Doe. Saying a sleeper cell nonsense is basically telegraphing that there are forthcoming false flags. Yes, I agree with you. Aggressively agreeing. Good morning. Saying Marky Mark pretending not to be a homo. I don't know. I think he's a real one. I've always liked Marky Mark. He's cool. Good morning, Alien Big Cat. But I also wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Good morning, Tom. Good morning. Good morning. Who else we got? Good morning. Whoop my baby mama ass. Retardo said Marky Mark attacked a random Asian in the 80s. It was racially motivated. Okay, I knew it was something like that. I swear he had some weird moment that was recorded. Yeah, because he was like, what, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch or whatever. Good times. There was a whole different Marky Mark than what a lot of people think of him now. See, dad jokes is fire pick. Just a stupid dad joke. Marmac, total drunk uncle joke. I've made the same joke in his defense too, but it is a little cringy. Good morning, Mustache. Good morning. Good morning. Ooh, Daz, you must, what are you, overseas? Are you one of our international listeners? Well, we're glad to have you here, saying it's 4:40 p.m. for you, for those who don't speak military time, or 16:40. Good morning, Gautis. Good morning. Good morning. Reset. Imagine if Marky Mark saved us from 9/11. That's right. He also does have that like one quote where like, I don't remember the specifics. Maybe it's one of those ones that's not as bad if you look into it, but it is. I mean, I don't. Absent any context, it looks pretty rough. But yeah, the quote about like, if he was what was it, Flight 93, the one that like went down, or I don't remember what. There was some specificity I'm forgetting, but essentially the idea that like, oh, if I was on that plane, it wouldn't have gone down like that. Good morning, Rock Biz. Good morning. Good morning. See, Tom33 says speak American is a classic joke. Yeah, but it just doesn't hit. It just really just wah wah wah. Just that's all it was. A lot of people get him shit like as if I don't even really know what as if. Just I guess to be like this idiot. I guess a lot of people are almost as if they're like being like dead serious, as if like they don't get that it's a fucking that it's a dad joke. So I don't know. Good morning, Billy Macabre. Good morning. Good morning. It says good morning from the People's Republic of Canada. Well, I am sorry. Won't be too long. You'll be one of us. I think we're getting ready to conquer you guys at some point soon. At this rate, we're taking over everywhere. But let's go ahead and get into foreign policy. Let's jump right in. Getting right into it. In case you guys have thought that we were done with it, no, we're still murdering out on the high seas. They've killed 6 more in latest boat strike. So any specifics on this one? Let's look into it. Small vessel in the Eastern Pacific. Oh, that's great. So they gave us a whole, half an ocean to guess of where it came from. So that's great. That's the amount of intel we're getting here. But cool, we have the snuff video here for those interested. Here you go. You can watch this grainy little video of death. Isn't that fun that we have government organizations that do such great things like this for us? Supposedly, these were narco-terrorists, as they always are every single time. Now they're up to 157 of these deaths. So great. Never really providing any sort of intel whatsoever. It seems like whenever we get in the weeds of these, they're completely bullshit. Completely and utterly bullshit. You don't even really need to get to the weeds. Even bird's eye view, you're like, this is bullshit. But for some reason, people still clap and say how great this is. Moving on, apparently our Iran war has spilled over into Iraq once again. So we're now bombing the Iraqi PMU. So it's over in Iraq. So an airstrike on 9 March struck a base in northern Iraq belonging to the Popular Mobilization Units, a wing of the Iraqi armed forces enjoying support from Iran, according to officials from the group. AFP reported that one PMU official attributed the strike to U.S. forces, saying it hit a base near the town of Bartella, near the city of Mosul in Nineveh Governorate. The PMU was established in 2014 after Shia religious leader Ali Sistani called for volunteers to fight ISIS following the terror group's capture of Mosul. The group received support from famed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. God, I'm struggling with words today. And was later incorporated into the Iraqi armed forces. So yeah, this is them attacking. So it sounds like official Iraqi military units. So that's great. Although I think it's like technically part of some other unit that does have a history of connection, because it is all like confusing when you get to Iraq and a lot of those regions over there. It's like Shia, Sunni. What's the third one? I forget. I'm forgetting one right now. But whatever. So it's like who's what, and even then, I think then we've done like basically an Iraq part 1. I'm not like a great like Iraq war expert or anything, but we essentially did 2 rounds, essentially putting 2 different people, 2 different groups in power. So I don't know, whatever. It's always a clusterfuck. People who think they understand the region don't really. It's not as simple as just herder. We put our people in charge. There's different groups. But there's some overlap between the PMU and Shia armed groups operating under the umbrella of the Islamic resistance in Iraq, including Kataib, Hezbollah, and Asaib al-Haq, which receive backing from Iran. Members of Iraq's other religious groups have since joined the PMU, including Sunnis, Yazidis, and other Christians. Okay, interesting. So it's kind of a mix. It's not even... So maybe it's less so specifically religiously motivated. No casualties were reported in the attack on Bartella, which comes amid the U.S.-Israeli war at Iran, launched on 28 February. Since the start of the war in Iran, bases belonging to the PMU have been hit by U.S. strikes several times, while resistance groups affiliated with the PMU have reportedly carried out attacks against U.S. targets. So we have a back and forth. 6 March, a drone struck a hotel in Erbil, the capital of the Iraqi Kurdistan region, where U.S. military personnel were reportedly staying. Ashab al-Kaf, an Iraqi resistance group, claimed responsibility for the attack. No casualties were reported. Following day, a drone attack targeted the Erbil airport, where U.S. forces maintain a base. The IRI later took credit for the attack. Our brave men targeted the airport base in Erbil, occupied by the American occupation with 2 drones, which successfully struck their targets, the group said in a statement. The attack was carried out in response to Israel's killing of Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei on the first day of the war. The strike was launched in fulfillment of their religious duty and in retaliation for the Zionist American aggression, the statement added. Early in the day, missiles were fired at the perimeter of the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, leading Iraq Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani to direct security forces to seek those involved. On 5 March, unknown helicopters airdropped foreign troops into a desert area near the city of Najaf in central Iraq. An Iraqi army unit approached the unknown forces, believing them to be U.S. troops. The unknown group fired on the Iraqis, killing 1 soldier and injuring 2 others. A security source told Al-Hurra that the almost certain information indicates it's an Israeli force, adding that the force has installed jamming and tracking radars to monitor drones and missiles launched from Iraq and Iran. So this widens, as we all kind of thought it would, and then even there at the end, it seems like they're kind of implying one of these different little skirmishes might have been Israel. There's been a lot of... I don't think I have a specific... part of this that I was planning on going into this day or any stories going to this, but it has been widely reported too. There's been lots of accusations or implications, I guess, of things maybe not being quite what they seem in certain areas and certain attacks, almost as if there's certain people that have, incentives for this war to grow larger, to expand. I don't know, a little bit of a false flag terrorism type thing going around all over the place. So, or just aggravating situations all over the place. So just saying, that might be a thing. I wouldn't be surprised if more information of that comes out as the dust starts to settle. And speak of the devil, Israel has killed 3 Palestinians. This is from yesterday. Then the following day, and the next 24 hours after that, they killed 7. So there's been 10 Palestinians have died in the past 48 hours. So wonderful. And then on top of all that, apparently the Gaza plan is now on hold. For those who kind of forget the ins and outs of that, that was the supposed ceasefire, quote unquote, that we had worked out going on over there. it was in phases, and we never even really got close to actually finishing. And let's be real, Israel never really even came close to upholding their side of the deal. But it was supposed to have, incremental certain things given to them, and certain things happen. Well, how convenient is it now that this Israel's war and the U.S. war of choice, how this is, oh no, now we can't do the Gaza thing, so now that's on hold. So talks to advance Trump's peace plan for Gaza have been on hold since the start of the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. Reuters reported on Monday. The U.S. and Israel launched the war about 10 days after Trump convened the first meeting of the so-called Board of Peace, a body he formed that's meant to oversee the ceasefire in Gaza, which Israel has constantly violated with daily attacks on Palestinians. At the Board of Peace meeting, Trump said the U.S. and other countries would provide billions of dollars of funds to rebuild Gaza, but no significant developments were announced as the implementation of his peace plan was already stalled before the Iran war. Under the U.S. plan, an international stabilization force is meant to deploy to Gaza to replace IDF troops who still occupy more than 50% of the Palestinian territory, but the ISF still hasn't materialized, and Indonesia, the one country that was ready to send troops to Gaza, is saying that it will quit the board if it doesn't benefit Palestinians. The other major impediment to implementing the peace plan in the U.S. and Israeli demands for Hamas to fully disarm amid continued Israeli attacks. Hamas's position is that it won't lay down its weapons until there are steps toward a Palestinian state, though it has signaled flexibility on the issue, suggesting it could freeze or store its weapons under Arab oversight. A Hamas official confirmed to Reuters that the talks on implementing the peace deal have been frozen. The report also said the Civilian Military Coordination Center, a U.S.-led military base in southern Israel meant to oversee the Gaza ceasefire, had scaled back to minimal operations over concerns that it could be targeted by Iranian missiles. Israel continued to violate the Gaza ceasefire on Monday, with Gaza's health ministry reporting that IDF attacks killed at least 7 Palestinians over the previous 24 hours, bringing the post-ceasefire deal death toll to 648. They've also, we covered the other day, they're covering the closing of the Rafah closure, which was part of this deal too. Essentially just kind of freezes the area, causes a whole lot more hardship, unable to move around. Obviously this affects goods, just screws everything over. And we also got the whole Lebanon thing going on that we covered the other day. They're up to 394 deaths in 1 week in Lebanon. 83 of those are children. This is 700,000 people displaced in the region. And Lebanon is trying to appeal for peace talks, but it's not looking good. Lebanese officials have reportedly proposed direct peace talks with Israel as a way to end the ongoing Israeli invasion, and sought help from the U.S. in brokering such discussions, but were apparently rebuffed, with U.S. envoy Tom Barak reportedly saying there was nothing to discuss. Just keep in mind, this guy is someone extensively in the Epstein files, and this is someone we knew that had all sorts of business ties and other such ties to Epstein. This is some character that one of these days we need to remember to hone in on, but he's kind of been this minor cabinet character, so we haven't really, because he's like the ambassador to a couple Middle Eastern countries, Lebanon being one of them. Israel has been attacking Lebanon on a virtual daily basis since 2024, but escalated it officially to a new war just last week. Since then, at least 486 Lebanese people have been killed and 1,313 wounded in the strikes, with at least 700,000 displaced from their homes. Barak, the U.S. ambassador to Turkey, as well as a special envoy to Syria, has been threatening an Israeli invasion for months, though in December he also urged Israel to enter into talks with Lebanon, saying at the time he doesn't believe Israel can destroy Hezbollah militarily. The Tom Barak of December seems not to be the same one Lebanon is facing in March, who said there was no point in holding direct talks like the ones Lebanon proposed, which were meant to be held in Cyprus. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar indicated that keeping Israeli ground troops in Lebanon is necessary for Israeli security, and further condemned UN peacekeepers operating in Lebanon as an obstacle to the operations of the Israeli military. The fighting between Israel and Hezbollah is ongoing, with Hezbollah reportedly firing a missile at the Israeli city of Ramla, wounding at least 4 people. The IDF, by contrast, fired tank shells at a home in the Lebanese village of Kilaya, killing a Maronite Catholic priest named Pierre El Rai. Kaliaya is a Christian. Oh, by the way, and on the priest killing too, that was a double tap. That was apparently there was actually like a go over to antiwar.com if you guys want to look at the story on your own, because he actually did a write up on there's a I don't know if it was probably Dave or somebody did a write up on this. Apparently he had announced that he was going to stay or whatever, if I recall correctly, because they had already been issued like, hey, they've been told by the Israeli military they need to get the fuck out, and they said they were going to stay. And essentially what happened is a house got struck, and the priest ran to help. And it's been a pretty common, I think don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that girls' school that we're going to cover a little bit today, I think that was a double tap as well. We did this in Yemen a while back, but Israel does it all the fucking time. But the idea is you strike a target, you wait, I don't know, a few minutes, or you watch a satellite until more people have congregated around, people coming to help, and you strike again, thus getting more kills in. So the Catholic priest was helping. He'd come to help the individuals who've been struck because he saw, someone got hit with a fucking missile. And so he showed up, and then they killed him for daring to help. So Kaliaya is a Christian majority village, and the IDF reportedly claimed there were fighters inside. The village mayor said that was a lie, and the only people inside were the priests and village locals who had come to help the wounded. Yeah, wonderful stuff. And then, also Israel's fucking around over in Syria. They've captured 4 children over in Syria. So great. Awesome. So yeah, that's a thing happening there. On Thursday, a pair of children shepherding cattle were captured by the IDF. Though they were ultimately released a few hours later, 4 more children were reported captured on Sunday, and 2 different incidents are being held at an Israeli military site in the area. Here again, the children were reportedly herding livestock, with 3 of them captured near Al-Asha village in Quneitra Governorate, and the 4th captured just outside of Qudana. The 4th was herding livestock near Hilltop military post, which may be related. Israeli troops also in the western part of the Dabra Governorate, with 5 Israeli armed vehicles reportedly heading to the area near Jamla village. Israeli air defenses reportedly shot down a suspected Iranian drone in the same area, although it's not clear if this is related to the deployment of the armored vehicles. Israel invaded Syria in December of 2024 following the ouster of the Assad government, initially seizing the demilitarized zone between Quneitra and the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. The troops have gone deeper in intermittent operations, raiding villages and detaining shepherds, though generally speaking, the Israeli troops have not attempted to establish a permanent presence beyond the former demilitarized zone. Negotiations have been ongoing between Israel and Syria for nearly a year, though Israel has rejected the idea of giving the old demilitarized zone back. Instead, is demanding the creation of a new demilitarized zone and no-fly zone across southern Syria. The Syrian government is reportedly not keen to accept the idea, and in recent months, Israeli officials have suggested the sides remain far from an actual deal. So, you can even see here on the map. You can see right here it says purple area. You see blue is Israel right here. So this gives you a better idea of what we're talking about here. This giant landmass over here in this reddish, purplish color or whatever, magenta, I guess, is that's Syria, and you see Quneitra is like, I guess you could say almost like a county of it. That's kind of like the spot that's, adjacent to the spot that's the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, which that was, I believe that it is a demilitarized zone, as they've said a few times, but it is, from my understanding, that's been Syria's. But, when Syria collapsed recently with Assad, Israel ran in, and now they've been occupying that area. They've occupied the demilitarized zone, but even now they're asking that they want to further demilitarize. So now we have all this stuff happening in Quneitra, the little province of Syria kind of connected there. So it almost seems like, I don't know, they're probably trying to expand, do whatever to expand their territory even further out that way. But with that, let's hop into the chat, say some more good mornings, and then we'll get into the first segment of the day, get into Nukes Imminent, the first main segment. As you're popping in here, be sure to hit a like button. You can do all the things, help a brother out. Good morning, Bug Fights. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Boomer Sooner. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning. Who else we got? Hit the like button, says Boomer Sooner. Remind you guys, yes, please. I do appreciate it. If you don't hit like, you hate kitties and want them to starve. Yeah, exactly. Do you want? Whoop my baby mama's ass clearly has an issue with Catholics, which I don't necessarily like. I don't really have like a problem with them. I'm not religious. I know, but yes, who's Catholic probably touches little boys. Poofy does. I don't know. I mean, I will say it is I don't know, when you take adult men and you put them in that situation, I know you create this power structure. I don't know, surprise, surprise, but whatever. All right, keep it moving. Let's keep moving. Boomer Sooner. See, hell yeah, brother. Feed the Kitties Fund. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the dinero. Appreciate it. All right, let's get into. All caught up on the chat. Let's get straight into this. The latest on the Iran front. Let's pop in there. Give me a second. Sorry. I gotta bring up the screen. First off, we got Iran chooses Ayatollah Khamenei's son as their new leader. That is the son of the guy they just killed. They also killed his wife. They killed his mother. They killed his sister. I'm sure this is going to go wonderfully. He's a 56-year-old man. Here he is. Looks fair. Looks healthy. Looks like a youngish, for so far as world leaders go. Pretty spry. And yeah, they just murdered basically his whole family: his wife, his mother, his father, and sister. I mean, I don't know. I think some people might feel a certain type of way about these sorts of things. But isn't it so great that we interfered with this nation's affairs? Because it really restructured the government to work out so much better for this. I'm sure he's going to be so much more willing to work with us when it comes to these nuclear deals and all the different things we would like to do. So yeah, this is also, Trump had recently bitched and moaned about this guy being, not being the case. Or not, this wouldn't be acceptable for him. Trump had even made overtures that, he has to be involved somehow in picking the new leader. And so this is very clearly a big fuck you from the Iranians saying, suck my dick. You will have nothing to do with this, and screw you. One thing that's I do think is interesting with this mix up here with this fatwa. I've brought this, or fatwa, whatever. I brought it up before. I mean, I'm by no means an Islamic scholar, but this is, from my understanding, it's like it's a religious edict, and it's given out by specifics. It's almost like the executive order, I guess it's a way to look at it. An executive order, but in the religious world, it's given out by major religious figures, and it's issued. And the key thing here that I'm driving at and kind of failing at a little bit is fatwas disappear upon the death of the religious leader. So I guess you can also, maybe another way to look at it is but it feels a little bit sacrilegious to say this would be like covenants, like for those, Christian belief system, it's like a covenant with the Lord. I guess kind of, and there's new covenants every now and then. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's not the greatest way to look at it. I mean, obviously, like the Khamenei, I think from my understanding, is kind of almost like their Pope or whatever. Not the Khamenei, the Ayatollah. It's kind of like I don't fucking know. But anyways, the key thing though is that the fatwa from the father, now is gone. He had a fatwa on, hey, we're not going to do nukes. Nukes is a no-go. We will never have weaponized. We can do nuclear energy, but we're never going to do nukes. Kind of, I don't remember the specific religious reasons. I think it had something to do with it, like it's impossible to be used as an offensive weapon without, hurting innocents or even, fellow believers or whatever the specifics were on it, which totally makes sense. So they had a religious edict of hey, nukes, not cool, which, I mean, I don't feel like you have to really, it's not really that much of a stretch, I think, for most religions to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do the whole nuke thing. So it makes sense to me, it totally tracks, but it's gone now. That's gone, so they're kind of free players, if you will. So now the question is, do I think that they're going to really get nukes? Like whether they even really be practical, whether they even really want to. But I think that the freaky thing is that they may not even be willing to say that they don't want to have nukes. But I mean, I guess with this is kind of I guess we're kind of waiting with bated breath to see how this guy behaves. Although we haven't really heard anything from this guy right now. There's also lots of rumors coming out from the U.S. side of things that he's already dead. But with that, they're obviously looking to kill him. So he's probably radio silent right now. So I don't know when we'll see if it is like maybe it's customary for new fatwas to be given when he comes in. But I would be interested to see where he falls on this. I think it would be actually it'd be a pretty cool move, pretty heroic if he then like just reissued his father's fatwa. It is also interesting too. There's one last note on this, and then we'll move on. One thing I found interesting is apparently his father had actually he had I guess preached about that it's not good to have hereditary monarchies. So the idea, this was actually I wouldn't say necessarily against his wishes, but this was like not what he preferred. But this was more that the country demanded it in this given situation. I think more just to send a message given the situation. So a little weird, and this is like not really what the father wanted. But I think what really did it was Trump's statements that saying that like he would be unacceptable. I wouldn't be least bit surprised if that was their way of going, oh, so he can't be it? Okay, he's going to be it. So. Interesting pick. So we have a lot more to see there. Let's check in on what Trump's been saying on this. He had quite the little media tour the other day. But he said on Monday that he believes his war with Iran could end soon, while Iranian officials are vowing that they're ready for a long fight. I think the war is very complete, pretty much. Trump told CBS News reporter Weijia Jiang. It's very complete, pretty much, guys. They have no Navy, no communications. They've got no Air Force. Later in the day, Trump said that the U.S. hasn't won enough yet and that he wanted to do more to achieve victory. We've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough. We go forward more determined than ever to achieve ultimate victory that will end this long-running danger once and for all, he said. Around the same time, Trump's Pentagon said an X that the war had just begun. When asked about the mixed messaging if the war was ending soon or just started, Trump said, let me see. Let's play this one. This one's too good. Let's watch this one real quick. This one's great. This really is just in your head. Play the Curb Your Enthusiasm music right after. It's pretty perfect.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, you've said the war's, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
Well, I think
for
you could
this war
say
to last
both.
for?
It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So, you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But
okay, so you could say both. We're just starting. It's ending and just starting all at the same time. Don't worry, words mean nothing. He said around the same time, Trump's Pentagon said the acts of the war had just begun. Oh, no, never mind. We just played that clip. But both Iranian government officials and military officials have made clear they're not looking for a ceasefire with the U.S., as they believe any truce would be temporary until the U.S. and Israel decide to launch another attack. The senior IRGC official said on Monday that Iran was ready to fight for an entire decade if necessary. We've been fighting the enemy for several days. Their strikes hit us, but ours were more powerful and deadly. Our intelligence has monitored the enemy for years, preparing for attack, even if the timing was unknown, Brigadier General Ibrahim Jabari told the New Arab. We are prepared for a long war, possibly lasting up to 10 years. Our armed forces operate according to pre-planned scenarios and will continue until the U.S. is expelled from the region and forced to retreat. The Iranian general said that Iran has enough missiles to continue the war, and if Tehran demands to end the war include a guarantee that another conflict won't break out in the future. We say clearly the U.S. must leave the region completely and permanently. This is the demand of our people. We will continue the war until full calm returns to the region and decisive guarantees are provided that no war will be launched again against Iran or the region. In his comments to Jiang, Trump said he's also considering taking over the Strait of Hormuz, which has effectively been closed by IRGC. Yeah, that'll go really great. Jabari said the Iranian military was ready to strike U.S. warships if they attempted to enter the strategic waterway. We await U.S. warships in the strait to target them with our advanced missiles. We have capabilities not yet disclosed, Jabari said. So far, we have struck at least 10 oil tankers. I tell the Americans we are waiting for your warships to send them to the bottom of the sea. Which that'll be important for some coverage here in a little bit. It's just absurd world we're living in. Oil prices spiked to nearly $120 per barrel on Sunday night, but dropped on Monday back below 90 after Trump suggested the conflict may end soon. Though the main message from the Trump administration has been the U.S.-Israeli airstrikes on Iran will intensify, and Trump said on Sunday the decision to end the war will be made with Netanyahu. So, not looking great on that decision, Netanyahu. So I'm glad gas dipped back down to 90. But I think that was more just anticipatory thing, with him saying that it might end it. So I'm just saying, guys, be ready for some expensive ass gas here soon. I am not hopeful. I really think there's a good chance we might be looking at some COVID type situations. Some supply shortages, stuff of the like, and some expensive ass gas. So great, because things aren't tight enough. But Trump said on Sunday that any decision to end the war with Iran will be a mutual one made with Netanyahu. Just pathetic. The president made the comments in a phone call with the Times of Israel where he claimed the U.S. and Israel have destroyed Iran. Iran was going to destroy Israel and everything around it. We've worked together. We've destroyed a country that wanted to destroy Israel, Trump said. When asked if he alone would decide when the war is over or if Netanyahu would have a say, the president said, I think it's mutual a little bit. We've been talking. I'll make a decision at the right time, but everything's going to be taken into account. After the U.S. and Israel first launched the war on February 28th, Trump suggested it could last 4 weeks, but the timeline has repeatedly shifted. And there are signs the U.S. is preparing for a long, open-ended conflict. So yeah, now we got to wait till Trump and Netanyahu agree. It sure seems like. And then also with all this too, despite we have all this talk about boots on the ground and stuff like that, and it's not looking like that would even do what they wanted or claimed to want. An intel report saying large-scale war unlikely to achieve regime change in Iran. A classified report from the U.S. National Intelligence Council has found that even a large-scale U.S. assault on Iran is unlikely to oust the Islamic government and military establishment, the Washington Post reported on Saturday. The intel report was completed about 1 week before the U.S. and Israel launched the war on February 28th, with major airstrikes, including Israeli strikes, that killed Khamenei. Despite the slaying of Khamenei, the government remains intact, and Iran's military continues to launch counterattacks against Israel and U.S. bases in the region. A source told the Post that it was unlikely the fractured opposition in Iran would be able to take power, and that if Khamenei were killed, the Iranian government would undertake the process to replace him. On Sunday, Iranian media reported that Iran Assembly of Experts has now chosen Khamenei's son as the new leader. While several Trump administration officials have denied the U.S. is seeking regime change, Trump has made clear that it's his ultimate goal. He said last week that he wanted a say in choosing Iran's next leader and called for the country's unconditional surrender. U.S. officials have also told the Post that so far there's no sign of an uprising against the Iranian government or of fissures within it that could result in a new regime. Israeli officials have also told Israeli media that there's no sign of Iranian military collapse despite the heavy U.S.-Israeli air campaign. So looking like the war on terror has come back with a vengeance. It's also, we got some apocalyptic signs to go along with it. Here is look at this picture. Holy shit, that is dour. That's smoke coming from a strike on Sharon fuel tanks. And we have black rain falls on Tehran after the U.S.-Israeli strikes blow up oil infrastructure, which they've also been attacking water salinization stuff too, which is so. We are going back to the era of World War II and just butt-fucking civilian infrastructure and just killing everybody. So that's wonderful. Barbarism doesn't die, it just changes forms. Black smoke filled the skies and water mixed with oil rained down on the Iranian capital of Tehran on Sunday following a U.S.-Israeli strike that blew up oil facilities, marking a new escalation in the bombing campaign. The Israeli military said on Saturday that it struck several fuel storage complexes around the city, And according to Al Jazeera, a total of 4 facilities were hit. Iran's oil distribution company said at least 4 of its employees were killed in the attacks. Footage from the aftermath of the strikes show large fireballs and black smoke pouring from the sites that were hit. The lingering black smoke blotted out the sun, confusing Tehran residents who thought it was still night when they woke up. Iranian authorities urged residents to stay inside, warning of the spread of toxic chemicals. The Iranian Red Crescent Society said that significant quantities of toxic hydrocarbons, sulfur, and nitrogen oxides were released into the air by the U.S.-Israeli strikes. Frederick Pleitgen, a CNN reporter in Tehran, posted several videos showing the oils raining from the sky. I want to show you something because the rain that's coming down seems to be saturated or filled with oil. You can see that's completely black. Everything on the ground is black as well. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Bagay said that by targeting fuel depots, the aggressors are releasing hazardous materials and toxic substances into the air, poisoning civilians, devastating the environment, and endangering lives on a massive scale. So wonderful. And then with all this too, we've got more soldiers dead. We've gone up to 7 now that we're aware of. So CENTCOM on Sunday confirmed the death of a 7th U.S. soldier in Trump's war with Iran, as Iranian missiles and drones have successfully struck U.S. bases in the region. Later in the day, the command confirmed another American death during the war, a member of the U.S. National Guard who it said died in a health-related incident. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong because I hit later in the day. This is the 7th person they're talking about. So the command confirmed another American death during the war, member of the U.S. National Guard who it said died in a health-related incident in Kuwait during a medical emergency on March 6. Oh wait, never mind. I'm retarded. I did read that right the first time. I guess there's also a death that they're calling was health-related incident, a medical emergency. I don't know. Could that be a I don't know, a drone blew up in their face? I don't know. The 6 other soldiers have been confirmed to have died or killed by an Iranian drone attack on a makeshift operations center at a port in Kuwait. According to media reports, the 6 U.S. troops had not been given any warning that the drone was approaching. I guess those Shahed drones, they just go so low and slow. That's how they sneak through. By the way, these were reservists, too. So this pretty fucked up. I mean, I guess everyone does sign up for it, but let's be real. The reservists definitely don't think they're ever going to be really doing a damn thing. So, yeah. With all this, too, they did like a dignified transfer recently. I know it's been not that I'm someone who really gets caught up on all this, but it was... Apparently, a lot of people have made a lot to do, and I gotta agree, it's pretty fucking gross. Really weird choice. Just kind of feels incredibly disrespectful. Trump was wearing his baseball cap at one of them. I think he was also I think there were some pictures and videos that looks at him being looking kind of glib. I mean, I don't know. You gotta put on a somber face for one of these type of occurrences. But it's kind of how he's been about all these American deaths. I know he got cornered on Air Force One, I think, recently by some reporter. And he just kind of like, well, that's what happens in war. That's what happens in war. You know, just people die. So, wonderful. Just a little kind of reminder, I guess, before we move on, though. Don't let friends enlist. It's one of the things I regret in life. I mean, obviously, I know, like, when I say regret, you know, you always are like, I'm not saying that I would like go back in time and change it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I guess it like sort of worked out for me in a sense, and that like I ended up in the situation I am, and I love my kids and yada yada yada. So like the butterfly effect. If I didn't enlist in the military, I probably would be in a situation where I did not have my children. And yeah, but you get the idea. That's something I should never have done. I would definitely never recommend anyone to do so. And here is especially in today's military. I mean, this is one of a litany of reasons why I got the fuck out. Because I don't know, it's a little bit freaky. I mean, hell, they've even like kind of kicked around the idea of a draft and stuff. So I'm like, not that I think it could happen, but it's like, I don't know, the idea of like being stuck over there. I mean, I don't know. We're in this weird, creepy era of warfare too, where it's not even this like dignified thing you're like kind of are sold to as a young dumb boy. They're like, herder, I'm be charging through the fucking desert and pew 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 pew, and I get behind cover and then like, no, you're probably gonna get murdered by a fucking Iranian drone. He's gonna just boom and you're done. And all for what? For absolutely nothing. So don't let your friends do this. Is here's one example. Here's Declan Cody. Here's one of the 6 who died. He's 20 years old. He was 20 years old. I mean, look at this guy. Here's his sister. So don't do this. Don't let this be you.
I still don't fully think it's real. I didn't think it was real when they told us. Because I just remember all of our conversations about what he was going to do when he came back. And so I'll just be sitting and thinking about it. And then, it's really hard. And I didn't have like the same phone call like this weekend that my dad and like my brother did. And so I just really wish I got to tell him I love him one more time, because he was just so amazing, and he always in front of everybody just was like really strong. He like, you know, never let his emotions really show. But I don't know. I can't help but think because he was my little brother, and he was probably really scared even if he didn't want people to know. And so I just wish he got to know one more time that we all loved him, because he was so amazing and kind. And like my dad said, like he didn't like speak like that much, but like he was just like the best little brother you could have.
Just to put this in perspective, this guy was born significantly after 9/11. So 5 years after 9/11. So just to put that a little bit in perspective. Just things are cyclical. Once we're here back once again. I'm now in my mid-30s saying, wow, all these young 18, 19, 20-year-olds, they shouldn't be doing this, and the cycle continues. Just wonderful, and I'm sure, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know, I guess I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? This is, sorry, I'm processing a lot of stuff right here. Just fucked up shit. Just fucked up. These are guys, this guy's a fucking reservist. Like, I don't know what this guy's job was, but I mean, given the fact that he was hit by a drone, he probably was had some nerd job. Like, I mean, it was probably some sort of, he probably was working on like some sort of satellite something, or if I'm just going to like hazard a guess at what he was working on, like he was probably some tech something or other, because from my understanding, a lot of the things they've been targeting over there have been like, you know, like, I know, satellite, you know, what can I'm struggling with, not satellite, but like nerd shit, basically nerd shit, stuff that's used for like radar and yada yada. I know they took out one that was like $1 billion, I think, in Qatar or something. So I mean, so I'm kind of just imagining like what this guy probably did. He probably just had some gay ass little nerd job, and he's a reservist, so he probably volunteered for this deployment too, because when it comes to reservists, at least from my understanding in most units, it's kind of like they don't tend to have a ton of deployments, so a lot of people jump at them, and because you make some decent money. And so this guy jumped at this deployment. He's just doing some nerd shit, probably, you know, making a little bit extra money. Then when he's back home, you know, assuming he wasn't like active reservist, he probably just was, you know, 1 weekend a month, did some, showed up to the base, did some computer-based training or whatever, you know, fucked off for the weekend, didn't really do a damn thing, all just to get a cheaper health insurance. Get some you know, college benefits, just a little shit like that, and now he's dead. So that's just saying, don't fucking do it, guys. It's dumb. Even if you are safe, it's still I don't know. It's soul crushing working for the government. Let me tell you that. As well, it should be. One more example of why it should crush your soul if you're in the military. The girls' school bombing in Iran that happened on the first day. So, like, for example, like, I was an aircraft mechanic. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I think it was a Tomahawk. So I guess this wouldn't be a great example. But let's say this was dropped out of like this is a bomb dropped out of a plane. Like, as me as an aircraft mechanic when I was in the military, I would have there'd be some blood on my hands in a roundabout way. Like, I mean, I worked on the refuelers, but like, so like this is what you guys are responsible for. So just saying, like, with that too, like, yeah, cool. Like, we get you get college benefits, you get this, you get that. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, if you're a deep thinker, I know a lot of people don't think past past first order, but this right here, this is what we're responsible for. So just saying, don't be part of the problem. And yeah, because it's not great for your well-being, your whether moral, physical. I mean, even I think monetary, just really all together. I mean, I guess if you do want to have the perfect little goy slop life and just have a 9 to 5 and make decent money, and you're cool with playing the fucking rat race, perfect. But most people with above room temperature IQ, it does get a little bit grating over time. But anyways, moving on. Apparently, we murdered it looks like it was the U.S. that murdered those little girls in that school, which I'm surprised. I was thinking it was probably going to be Israel, but Trump's going around claiming it was Iran, and the military is refusing to endorse that. So Donald Trump claimed it was Iran. 3 current and former defense officials, however, pushed back on his claims. Even Hegseth refused to back him up. CENTCOM appeared to suggest that Trump's comments were inappropriate. This is another instance of Trump lying and just talking out of his ass at a U.S. government official who reviewed a satellite images of the Shajara Tayyaba school. This clearly was not a failed rocket from the IRGC base. The U.S. official was referring to an IRGC Navy base that was adjacent to the school. The claim the IRG struck the school spread as part of misinformation campaign about the attack peddled by social media accounts that support restoring Iran's monarchy. The U.S. official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to speak freely said it was clear that Iran did not strike the school. Trump, however, endorsed the dubious claim when taking questions from the press aboard Air Force One on Saturday. It said, based on what I've seen, it was done by Iran, Trump said of the attack, which killed at least 175 people, many of them children, according to Iranian health officials and state media. Hegseth, standing alongside Trump, was asked if that was true and failed to endorse the claim. We're certainly investigating, he said, before offering a non-denial denial. But the only side that targets civilians is Iran. Keep in mind, those are weasel words. Those mean nothing. When asked for comment on the status of the U.S. military investigation, U.S. CENTCOM said that getting ahead of the investigation's findings was improper, which is exactly what Trump did. CENTCOM spokesperson, who did not give their name, said it would be inappropriate to comment given the incident is under investigation. And then we have a video released as well that very clearly shows that this cruise missile was a Tomahawk, which we'll show that here in a minute. So the munition is only employed by the U.S., not Israel or Iran, said Wes Bryant, a former special ops joint terminal attack controller who called in thousands of strikes across the Greater East. Now, I will say, I don't know if there's some final word here. I know that there's been this online back and forth against, let's be real, Trump shills, especially the ones who like kind of in the military ones. I've seen some of those, shill dorks doing this like, well, this is clearly this missile or that missile. I think it's been kind of confirmed from my understanding by multiple that it's Tomahawk. I don't know, whatever. But let's keep moving. Let's check out this. Let's check out, which one do I want to play? Actually, let's see this. Let's check in on Trump's answer when it comes to the Iran claim, because someone pushed him on this too, which was pretty dope. Whoever this is, good on you. Not just licking his balls like it seems like pretty much everybody else in the press corps these days does. But let's check out this guy. He's pushing Trump on the Iranian claim. Let's check this out.
President, you just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a Tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But Tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have Tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report.
President, you just suggested that Iran...
So then he kind of admits, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Pretty quickly. All right, here's from Drop Site. He says, footage reviewed and geolocated by Bellingcat confirms U.S. Tomahawk missiles hit the girls' primary school in northern Iran that killed 180 people, most of them children. Researcher Trevor Ball notes Israel does not possess Tomahawk missiles. The United States does. I think Trump is trying to say Iran has them. And then right here, follow up actually Ryan Grimm. He says, to be abundantly clear, the IRGC doesn't have Tomahawks, despite we just had Trump going, oh, yeah, they got Tomahawks. Iran has Tomahawks. So it seems they've all settled on Tomahawks. Oh, here's the original clip of him claiming that it was Iran. If you guys want to check this out, here you go.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating. But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done by Iran.
Keep in mind, we've also bombed. I just covered a little bit ago how we bombed their fucking oil facilities. I think also water salinization plants, which I think, to be fair, those were probably both Israel. But I mean, when you're doing a joint war with Israel, one that we started, it's kind of a little bit on us. Here's a clarification. The Bellingcat found the U.S. strike at G-located hit one of the buildings marked in red near the school. Smoke is visible rising from the school's location before the impact of the strike reviewed by the researchers. Middle East Eye previously reported that double-tap missile strike hit around the area around Shajara Tayyaba Elementary School in Manab, Iran on February 28, 2026. Witnesses said an initial strike hit the school, followed by a second strike on a nearby prayer hall where students and staff had gathered. The Bellingcat location shows for the first time the United States directly struck the facility. All right, let's watch this. So I think what they're saying there is this is technically the second. I think this might have been the double tap that we're seeing here. Although I guess technically it wasn't a normal double tap. But here you go. Let's watch it. So here you go. I'm sorry for the audio listeners. It's just a big old boom, so you can see where it dropped. So yeah, looks like we murdered almost 200 little girls. So that's wonderful. The price of war. But guys, don't worry. It's just a small cost for long-term gain or whatever the hell mockingbird nonsense they're trying to pass off to us lately. Which I'm not gonna lie is a little bit terrifying. That this is where we're at. Makes me feel like we're about to have a whole lot of economic hardship real fucking soon. But let's listen to the talking heads repeat all the same things.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term and long-term.
Short-term blip.
Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefit.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
This is
Wonderful. I feel so reassured. Here's Donald Trump on the Strait of Hormuz. He says if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. Additionally, we will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back as a nation again. Death, fire, and fury will rain upon them, but I hope and pray that it does not happen. This is a gift from the United States of America to China and all those nations that heavily use the Hormuz Strait. Hopefully it's a gesture that will be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump, which just comes off as super weak considering I'm pretty sure they've already attacked like 10 tankers or whatever, so just more threats from Israel that you better not do the thing that you've been doing. You better not do it. And then to make it even worse, this is just insane. Here's President Trump on the Strait of Hormuz and what the ships should do. This is what he is advising He's advising the private individuals who are, I don't know, going through, transporting their goods. Here is what they are recommending they do. He is recommending.
Here's exactly what he said. These ships should go through the Strait of Hormuz and show some guts. There's nothing to be afraid of. They have no navy. We sunk all their ships. He went on to say, he said, look, yeah, there's risk in the region. The region's volatile. They are launching. Here's exactly what he.
Okay, so let's back up real quick. What was that? Was this is what he told he told Brian Kilmeade on One Nation. He said Trump. He said to Fox News, said these ships should go through the Strait of Hormuz and show some guts. There's nothing to be afraid of. They have no navy. We sunk all their ships. Yeah. By the way, they have missiles. They don't need ships. They have missiles that they can reach from land to the Strait of Hormuz. So, and they also have all their different drones and stuff. So, this is quite the game plan. Let's see how it works out for them. Just whatever. We'll just downplay them. They can't do shit, despite the fact. Apparently, they killed Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich's son. He was hit by mortar shrapnel when Hezbollah struck 8 Israeli soldiers on the border. The fragment tore through his back and stomach, ripped his liver, and came to rest 1 inch from the largest blood vessel in his abdomen. Now, for those who don't know who Smotrich is, he's always calling for a war with Iran, Lebanon, and he is just absolutely just the worst. I've always joked that he has the name of a demon, so I don't know. I guess it couldn't happen to anybody better. So it's hard to muster up any sort of feelings of sympathy. I'd prefer people weren't dying, though. Just to be clear, just to mark my position. I'm not going to try to take too much joy here, but yeah, they were reaching out and touching family members of the Israeli cabinet. And even more so than that, we got Scott Ritter out here saying that he thinks Netanyahu's brother is dead, and that he also thinks Ben Gvir may be. Sorry, give me a second. That Ben Gvir may also be injured. Another one of the members of the cabinet or the Knesset or whatever for Israel. So here we go. Let's watch this. Here's Scott Ritter. There's also all sorts of murmurs amongst the military people, even when it comes to like military bases and stuff. I know we're getting all this news that we got less than 10 military members dead, and they're kind of downplaying the damage sustained. But you kind of get in the weeds of some of these, like the Scott Ritters and some of the other people who this is their jam of kind of intel in that world. And there's a lot of now. This could be bullshit. This could just be, who knows? Maybe it's Iran's influence somehow. Ritter surely has his vectors of influence, if you catch my drift, for those who know his background. But it also, I don't know, it feels like there might be something to that. So, I don't know. Well, I guess time will tell as more information comes out, if really a lot of our bases overseas are more smoke than they're acting like. But it looks like this is a lot more serious of a situation than they're treating it. So this is let's listen to what Scott Ritter has to say.
Last night, the Iranians struck the home of Benjamin Netanyahu. They killed his brother. They struck the home of Ben Gvir. He is seriously wounded, may not survive. Iran is going to start to take out the totality of Israel's leadership. This is the reality of this conflict. Israel played the regime change game. It's going to be the Israelis that are going to be paying the highest price. The Iranians are no longer wearing kid gloves. They've taken them off, and they're coming in bare knuckle.
They're reporting it. This is interesting. I looked it up as soon as you said it. The BBC is reporting it as Ben Gvir was in a car accident last night. Does that surprise you?
They can report it any way they want. We know that his home is on fire.
So, okay, Ben Gvir got a car accident. I guess his home's on fire, according to Scott Ritter. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more later. And then, I guess to kind of finish this off and really tie this fully into the, oh my God, you gotta be, so of course StreamYard's glitching, and tie this fully into the name of this segment. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu addressing his nation. We're gonna have to read it because it's in his weird gibberish language. So let's let's listen. Oh my God, give me a second. Sorry, I do one more. Sorry, I thought I had it all right. Give me one more moment. Here we go. Now we got it. So here's Benjamin Netanyahu talking about a surprise. Says, as for what we will do next in Iran, we have a detailed plan with many surprises to destabilize the region and enable change. We have many more targets, and I will not elaborate on them here. But to the Revolutionary Guard operatives, those who oppress the Iranian people in the streets, I will say only this. You are also in our sights. Those who lay down their weapons will not be harmed. Those who do not, their blood is on their own heads. And to the Iranian people, I say, I have been speaking to you and for you for decades. The moment of truth is approaching. So, okay, the key words there is a little surprise for you. The moment of truth is approaching. I'll be, I'm watching now a little less sinister than what I've seen a lot of people, presenting this as, pulling out some key phrases. But I do still think it's something to be concerned about. If you do get into a lot of the betting markets and stuff, they have been going up big time for things like nukes being dropped. And unfortunately, I think there's a pretty strong chance of that. As I said here, I would really love for a Taco Trump moment right about now, but unfortunately, I think POTUS fucked kids, and that's why we could see nukes in the very near future. Bear in mind, even when we were talking about Lebanon earlier today, Tom Barak, highly affiliated with Epstein. Who else? Howard Lutnick. I don't think Pam Bondi has that connection. She has weird Scientology, but you really start digging into the characters that surround Trump, and you realize, like, oh, we're fucked. We are fucked. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if we do see nukes in the not so near future. I said that wrong. The not so far off future. Unfortunately, luckily, I will say though, I don't think it will start off some nuclear holocaust. Now it could. I think it would, by its very nature, increase the chances of some sort of descending into a nuclear holocaust. I doubt it though. I actually doubt that, because in my head, how I imagine this is I imagine at some point in the next maybe few months or something, I could see Israel launching off a nuke to Iran, and in this like kind of announcing to the world they have this. And keep in mind, Iran's not nuclear armed, so I don't think if Israel attacks Iran that anyone would attack Israel. Now, it would throw the political paradigm in complete and utter disarray, I think. And ironically, all the talking points about, oh no, we're going to put this, religious, lunatics in charge and give them nukes, and they're going to be willing to use them, and they're just going to be completely erratic. Well, we will manifest that very reality, unfortunately. And when I say this political paradigm will change, I don't know. I don't know how the world looks, where we have an Israel that has shown itself to be completely willing to use nukes for pretty flippant reasons. We may end up in a very weird situation. So keep an eye out for that. We'll keep covering that on this show. Let's roll through the chat. It's been a minute since I checked in with you guys. And then we'll do some Epstein coverage. And then, I don't know. I yapped a little too long in that segment. So I don't know. Maybe we'll cut off the last segment. We'll see how quick we get through the Epstein stuff. But let's roll through the chat. Say some more good morning. Say some hellos. Yada, yada. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. What my baby mama asks is, if nukes were real, they would have been dropped. They would have been dropped throughout many years, throughout many wars. Maybe. I don't know. I'm completely open to the nukes are fake. I guess, I don't know. We'll find out, or we won't, because even then, even if they did drop a nuke, then there would be some way we could conspiracize how it was fake. So I don't know. I think they're probably real, but I also I don't know. Nothing would surprise me at this point. Good morning, WC Cola says, keep my fatwa out your damn mouth. Alien Big Cat, my fatwa too good for your stinking infidel mouth, inshallah. Fun stuff. Alien Big Cat says, what happened to attack Iran and China? Well, Russia will start WW3. Did I ever say that? I don't know. I've never really been under the impression that Iran and China or Russia would really come to the aid of Iran too forcefully. So, like, I don't really feel like they're... And now they might get involved. I know there's been talks that Russia has been assisting with Intel. So, I'd perhaps... Something like that. I don't know. Which isn't... I don't know. Whatever. I'm kind of rambling. I'm yapping. I'm just thinking in my head real quick. But, yeah. I guess I'm trying to figure... I guess I'm trying to get at what you're getting at, too. Yeah, I don't know. I never thought it would start in that way. Now, when I say it starts World War III... I mean, we very well may be in it, but I don't know. I don't know if when I say World War III, I don't think it'll really necessarily look like World War II, but I mean, we may kind of already be in that World War III. I mean, this thing's pretty expanding pretty quickly. It doesn't really look like there's a lot of off ramps. Now, does that mean we're going to go to full on World War II, death levels? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe over in the Middle East, maybe another Holocaust over there, but I doubt really like on the American side of things, but I think it'll really fuck the economy on our side of things. So, which Iran, China, and Russia would have a big part of that, to be honest, in the on the economic side of things, because they're not too happy about this shit right now. History books will refer to this as a gay war, yeah, for sure. Taz says, glad you're monetized again, but fucking ads. Hey. You guys, I'm just maybe okay. Whoever, how about this? I'm trying to figure out a deal to work out with you guys. I can drop the ads. If you guys drop into a couple super chats and somebody goes, "Hey, so no ads," then maybe that's what I'll do. Anytime somebody drops a super chat and says no ads, then I'll remember the following one. I'll drop ads because it's whatever. Hey, that makes up for it. There we go. If you don't want ads, you got to drop a super chat. How's that? And you got to mention it in the super chat. Say no ads, and it's got to be, I mean, whatever, any amount, as long as it's not some weird like 3 cent amount or whatever. I'll stop the next day because I don't even think the ads are really that much unless you're doing like thousands of views. So, it's just a little itty bit. So. Someone just watched Drive. It is a great film. That is a fun film. I'm glad you finally watched that. Catching up in the chat. Tom says, forever grateful I saw through the bullshit before I enlisted. Yeah, I'm glad you did as well. Try to keep everybody out of that shit if you can. Aggressively Green says, why I can't understand how we still have servicemen. If I saw my friends murdered by a guy they eventually make president of a foreign country, I'd lose my shit. Yeah, that always like really confounded me, especially near the end when I got out, that like all the guys that were the guys and girls coming in around the time I got out, they're like, like the guy we just saw who's dead, he's 20 years old and he friggin' was born 5 years after 9/11. So around the time I got out of the military, it was like pretty much most of the new people coming in were born after 9/11. And even if they weren't born after 9/11, they were so young that like when 9/11 occurred that it was like a nothing to them. So like it wasn't really part of their zeitgeist in the same way. Like it didn't have this like trauma effect that it had in a lot. So it's like, what are you even here for? And you're like, it is weird. People will do shit for money. There's a lot of welfare whores out there. I don't know. Good morning. All dogs go to heaven. Says sup dumpers. I'm still wiping my ass with TP from 2020. You were a toilet paper king back in the day, I guess. You saved up thinking it was going to be currency. Let me see. Northside, did I say good morning to you already? I'm not sure. He says, if you get hookers through OnlyFans, the money is efficiently converted to pro-APAC causes. Good to know. Northside says, my homies got bad PTSD. Sorry, you were replying to somebody else in there. Ritter, convicted nonce, says Alien Big Cat. Yeah, I mean, I know some people say there's some conspiracy to it or something. I don't know. Who was the kitty of the day, Boomer? It was Jeff. Today. Oh, Jeffrey. Marty Mac says, I'm all in on nukes are fake. Let's be real. Israel would have been dropping those a long time ago. Maybe. I don't know, though, because once they release it, it kind of, they're in this weird situation where everyone knows. It's almost like this weird power situation where they get to be this like hidden power behind the scenes. Because even now, I've seen more people kind of make this a talking point, this idea that like, hey, there's this real like geopolitical, thing going on to where like, one hidden dynamic a lot of people don't take into account is that like, hey, here's this other motherfucker that behind closed doors is like, I will fucking nuke you. And like, and the rest of the world just is pretending like they don't have nukes. It puts you in this weird kind of like power position. But the problem is like, once you use the nukes, you're in a different power position. So I don't know. I'd have to think deeply, but I feel like there's different benefits of being in each dynamic. Like, I mean, in my head, I imagine when they drop this will, be a big, huge political paradigm changer, but they kind of need to have all their ducks in a row for that. Because then it really does fuck up their whole, like, welfare whore grift. I mean, yeah, they'll keep sucking off the fucking, the corpse of America, probably for, like, ever. But for the rest of the world, it really completely fucks up that grift. So... but it does put you in this other weird one where now people definitely aren't going to be fucking with you. You kind of might be essentially I really do feel like that could kind of in a weird way turn them into the new empire, the new America. So. Yeah, Crestly agreeing is on the nukes are fake one. So they pretend are real to give negative connotations to nuclear, so we don't move to nuclear. Perhaps, yeah. So you guys are talking. It's about whether nuclear energy is real, but the bombs are not. Yeah, that's like to seem to be the big brain conspiracy. Is that like yes, nuclear energy is real, but somehow nuclear bombs aren't, and that's the big thing is that they're trying to keep us away from kind of. Infinite energy that way because we're worried, oh no, we might set off a bomb. Meanwhile, there is none. I don't know. Maybe not. All right, let's move on to our Epstein segment. This will probably be the last segment of the day. I think I'll move our Iranian sleeper cell segment to tomorrow. By the way, I have on Thursday, I have Kyle Anzalone coming on the show. And Thursday night, for the paywalled episode, I have Brad Binkley coming on. We're going to be talking about the Erica Kirk stuff and the kind of the Candace dynamic and where that's at now. Because bitches be tripping, dog. But let's get into this last segment. Here is Representative Melanie Stansbury. She's from New Mexico's 1st Congressional District. I think she's a Democrat. So just so you got all the cards at the table, you know who this broad is. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of a little bit of MILF status, kind of cute. So, she's probably going to go far in the political world. We'll see. I've not seen her before, but let's check out. Here's her talking about the updates in the New Mexico situation on the Epstein investigation.
Well, I am coming to you from New Mexico with a breaking update in the Epstein investigation, and that is today, New Mexico's Department of Justice has begun its on-site investigation of Zorro Ranch. This investigation is crucial as a part of our larger investigation into the crimes that happened by Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and his associates here in New Mexico as part of New Mexico's investigation through our State Department of Justice and our newly passed bipartisan Truth Commission. Now, one of the things that's important to know is that New Mexico's Zorro Ranch is a place where multiple crimes were reported both to federal authorities as well as state and local authorities. In fact, there are records dating back to the mid-1990s of abuse happening at the ranch, including a report to the FBI in 1996 by a survivor and multiple other reports over the years. And one of the significant and important pieces of this case is to understand why justice was never pursued at the state, local, or federal level. So this investigation is a crucial piece of trying to understand what happened at the ranch, to look for potential crimes that may have occurred on the ranch property, especially because after Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2019 and other properties were searched, Zorro Ranch was never properly searched, and because it is a crucial piece in getting to the bottom of truth and accountability here in our state, to hold those who are still able to be held accountable to the law, as well as seeking justice and healing for survivors here in our state. So we are so grateful for the work that the New Mexico Department of Justice is doing. We are so grateful for our state legislative leaders like State House Representative Andrea Romero and State House Representative Mariana Anaya, who are leading on our Truth Commission. And we are so grateful to all of the survivors and our community who has shown up, especially over the last several weeks, to show support for survivors. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone, all of the hundreds of New Mexicans who showed up yesterday to show their support for the survivors, to march and to stand in solidarity at Zorro Ranch yesterday. I had the opportunity to meet with survivors afterwards, and I want to share with you that what they shared with us is that they felt like New Mexico was home and had welcomed them. So thank you to all of our New Mexicans out there who are leading the way, who are leading with your hearts, and who are seeking truth, justice, and accountability, because that is what this case is all about.
Okay, so a little bit of a long way to say they're continuing with, or they're opening the investigation update. They've begun searching Zorro Ranch, but so I don't know what they're all going to get out of it. I know we've talked about before that what's his name, Don Huffines, I think is his name. I believe he went on some show and he was talking about that they've already started construction all over the place. I guess they're wanting to make it some sort of like Christian retreat or something to kind of cleanse the bad out of the area or whatever. But pretty sure, if I recall correctly, that guy has some odd connections to the Epstein class. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a genuine religious instinct coming from the guy, but I have my skepticism. But I did think it was a little bit interesting. I found this that this kind of a little bit of a look into why the original one shut down in the first place. Why back in the day, back in 2019, when they really should have been looking into Zorro Ranch, why it didn't. Apparently, Maureen Comey, the daughter of James Comey, is the one who shut it down. I thought that was particularly interesting. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to lean into the whole left-right, different teams nonsense that they get into, trying to blame this whole more, because I know especially early on in the Trump administration, there's all these blaming of Comey for this or for that, and it would almost seem like she was kind of this scapegoat, when meanwhile, let's be real, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I don't think you just go, oh, that's my political enemy, and therefore, let's be real. I think she's kind of playing for the bigger team here, the UNO team, the Uniteam. But it's back in 2019, she ordered the New Mexico officials to shut down the investigation. So it was her that shut it down back in there. She used to be the assistant U.S. attorney. So the daughter of Comey, the previous guy, James Comey, is the one who shut it down. So I thought that was an interesting little factoid that you guys might appreciate. More interesting stuff, kind of digging into, fleshing out things that occurred. Apparently, we're getting some new information about one of the prison guards and some dubious behavior before, after, kind of around that time. I don't know. Some of us are a little bit more conspiratorial minded and might leave us wondering what the fuck is going on here. So let's dig through this. The New York Post has this piece. Epstein prison guard Googled him minutes before body found and made mysterious deposit before pedophile's suicide. So let's check this out. One of Jeffrey Epstein's prison guards Googled the sex predator minutes before he was found dead and also made a mysterious $5,000 cash deposit 10 days before the predator's jail cell suicide. New Department of Justice documents reveal. One second, I got these. Thought I was going to sneeze. Did not. But anyways, Tova Noel was one of the 2 Metropolitan Correction Center workers accused of falsifying records to say they checked on Epstein throughout the night before his August 10th, 2019 suicide. Give me a second. It's being there. We go. All right. Noel Google latest on Epstein in jail at 5:42 a.m. Latest on Epstein in jail. Okay. I mean, I keep in mind this is an info dub story, so I'm literally going through this with you guys kind of in the moment. I mean, I've seen the headlines, obviously. I saved this, but I haven't read it. So I knew she Googled something. I didn't know. She literally Googled latest on Epstein in jail. That's wild. That's wild. All right, let's keep moving. At 5:42 a.m. and then again at 5:52 a.m. So she was just repeatedly checking latest on Epstein in jail. That's great. And then again at 5:52 a.m., less than 40 minutes before her colleague, correctional officer Michael Thomas, found the disgraced financier dead in his cell. So this is before, to be very clear, this is before he was found dead. She was Googling twice. She Googled twice, latest on Epstein in jail. And this is one of the guards. But you think, like she's the guard. So she would have she is the latest on Epstein in jail. Like, you know this. So nothing suspicious to see here. So he was found at 6:30 a.m. dead, according to an FBI record of Knowles. This was according to an FBI record of Knowles' internet search. Earlier that shift, Noel, 37, shopped for furniture online and snoozed on the job. Instead of making the mandated checks on Epstein every 30 minutes while Thomas perused motorcycles, prosecutors said. The FBI highlighted the eerie internet search in its 66-page forensic examination of the Bureau of Prisons desktop computers of Noel and Thomas. It was the only search highlighted. When questioned during her sworn statement to the DOJ in 2021, Noel denied Googling Epstein. I don't remember doing that, she claimed, according to transcript. She said FBI records were not accurate. I don't recall looking them up. Which, I'm all about the FBI lying, so who knows? Maybe it's a big old cover-up and she didn't do nothing. Noel, who has since been sued in Westchester County Supreme Court for alleged assault at her new job as a medical office assistant at Montefiore Einstein Advanced Care, also claimed to investigators that everyone in the Manhattan federal lockup failed to do rounds and falsified records about it. So that's awesome. She's currently being sued at another job for alleged assault. That's wonderful. That's great. I've never worked in the special housing unit and actually done rounds every 30 minutes, she told investigators. Meanwhile, Chase Bank flagged cash records in Noel's bank account in a suspicious activity report to the FBI in November 2019. Another file from the DOJ revealed. A total of 12 deposits began in April 2018, the bank said, and culminated in the largest deposit for $5,000 on July 30th, 2019, the record shows. So, okay, so there's 12 deposits and they're all over the place, the biggest deposit being $5,000. So, I don't know. So probably in the realm of tops, if I had to guess, 40, 50K-ish, if 5K was the largest. Because let's say all of them were 5K, that's 60K. So, but this is... So the largest was 5K, but we don't know what the other ones were. There were 12 altogether. Okay. The files only contain Noel's bank records beginning in December 2018. They show 7 cash deposits totaling $11,880. Okay. So now they're showing 7. I'm confused. Let me just look over this. Meanwhile, Chase Bank flagged record cash deposits. Okay, so the first one, the 12 deposits, are what Chase Bank flagged. And then what else we got? And then over here, the files only contain Noel's bank records beginning December 2018. Oh, I get it. Okay, so that's when they flagged total 12 deposits from April, but they didn't start recording them, or we don't have the records until December. So April, January, February, March, April. So that's like 7 months are missing essentially from there. So that's why there's 5 deposits we're not aware of. So 7 of them, though, equal up to 11. So, okay, maybe we're more in the 20K-ish range altogether. But there were 7 of them that comprised 11,880. So Noel started work in a special housing unit where Epstein had been held beginning on July 7th, 2019, just weeks before his death. Now that's interesting how that, like, somehow I'd be curious about that. Like, because she was being paid for, like, seems like well over, like, over a year. I mean, unless I got my math a little bit wrong here. Around a year-ish prior to this. And she wasn't even working in his unit. So that's interesting. But yeah, she started working it when he'd been held on July 7, 2019, just weeks before his death. Noel, who drove a $62,000 2019 Land Rover Range Rover, wasn't asked about the cash during a DOJ interview, records showed. Internal FBI briefing, also released in the DOJ files, reveals the agency thought Noel was likely the mysterious orange shape spotted in a blurry surveillance video near Epstein's cell around 10:40 p.m. that night. At approximately 10:40 p.m., a correctional officer believed to be Tova Noel carried linen or inmate clothing up to the L tier. Last time any correctional officer approached the only entrance to the SHU tier, the special housing unit, the agency wrote. Epstein apparently hung himself with strips of orange cloth. In the sworn statement, Noel, who was working a double shift that day, told investigators she last saw Epstein alive somewhere around 10, and that she never gave out linen ever or clothing to inmates because that's done the shift before. The identity of the pixelated orange blob in the video has been a source of debate and conspiracy since the FBI released the footage last September. The original 2023 Inspector General report said it was unidentified correctional officers making the recently released FBI document the first time a name was publicly put to the mysterious shape. She testified she didn't know why Epstein had extra linen in his cell. The other guard on duty was sleeping between 10 p.m. and midnight, she said. Prison employee entering the area of Epstein's cell alone would be a policy violation, workers have said. Lawyers for Noel declined to comment. Asked during her sworn statement if she had any part in Epstein's death, Noel replied no. So, do we believe her, fam? What do you guys think? Do you think this broad did it? It's not looking good. One last thing on the Epstein front. This is I guess you could say the ending of an investigation. The culmination of one. The Alexander brothers. They finally met justice, it seems. They've been found guilty on all counts in Manhattan in one of the largest sex trafficking cases ever brought by the Justice Department. By the way, I'm taking this from Molly Crane and Newman, at Moll, MOLCRANE, Newman on Twitter. For those who want to follow her, I just gave her a little follow. But apparently she was covering the Alexander brothers case, which we've talked about this show a few times. They've also come up in the Epstein files, funny enough, although we were covering them before the Epstein files. So some of the wild, crazy accusations that kind of don't really have any, how do I put this, more like tip line type stuff, the less credible stuff. There's a few of them. There's like a couple of them, I think, with the Alexander brothers mentioned, which, knowing what they actually are up to in real life, it kind of makes time, so you can't really like chalk it up to like fame of the Epstein stuff. Kind of looks like some of the darkest shit people think's going on is what's going on. But yes, they've been found guilty in all counts. Tal and Orrin were among the U.S.'s highest paid real estate agents. They could face decades in prison. And yes, before you ask it, they are Jewish. 3 of the accounts involve minors. Orrin was represented by Mark Agnifilo and partners at his firm who helped secure Diddy's acquittal on sex trafficking and racketeering charges in the SDNY last year. Jurors heard testimony from 11 women who alleged they had been raped or sexually assaulted by one or more of the brothers, who often carried out the attacks after administering date rape drugs. Prosecutors spoke with more than 60 women during their investigation. The Israeli-American brothers have been jailed by the MCC since their December 2024 arrest, announced by former U.S. Attorney Damian Williams at his last presser, which, by the way, that guy is a fixer. He definitely plays for the team. So, I mean, yeah, these guys are guilty, but let's be real. They're going to be shielding some sensitive info, if I had to guess. They offered bail of up to $100 million. Yeah. By the way, Damian Williams is the one. He was over the Diddy trial. He was also over the Ghislaine stuff. Now, to be fair, that's more of like just a regional thing, so it's just kind of like happens to be where he is. But point being, he's kind of clearly been the guy running point when the fix has been in multiple times. So they offered bail of up to $100 million in a failed bid for release, a move Judge Caproni likened to trying to buy a private jail, or rather the MCC was shuttered after the death of a different Florida man jailed on sex trafficking charges. Here's a statement from Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton acknowledging sex trafficking and other federal sex offenses are present in many walks of life, and we have not done enough to root it out. You go. It says federal sex offenses are all too prevalent in our society and all too often go unreported, unpunished. The truth is, sex trafficking and other federal sex offenses are present in many walks of life, and we have not done enough to root it out. The abuse inflicted upon the victims is disgusting, scarring, and should not be tolerated. Our prosecutors and our law enforcement partners are committed to breaking these conspiracies, bringing the perpetrators to justice, and sending a message to anyone who would commit or enable these horrific acts. Today, we take an important step in our fight against sex trafficking. Moments ago, a unanimous Manhattan jury found three brothers, Alan, Orrin, and Tal Alexander, guilty of multiple federal sex offenses, including conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. The verdict comes after a weeks-long trial where evidence and testimony from 11 brave victims demonstrated the Alexander brothers conspired to repeatedly lure, drug, and rape young women. These are chilling, reprehensible, and unacceptable acts. We commend the victims for their courage in coming forward and testifying at the trial. They bravely overcame the pain of reliving the abuses inflicted upon them and as a result prevented others from becoming victims. We also commend the jury of New Yorkers for their attention, care, and commitment to our judicial system. The jury saw the Alexanders' conduct for what it was, calculated, brutal sex abuse that unimaginably the defendants celebrated. This verdict cannot undo the effects of heinous abuse the Alexanders' many victims endured, but it does send a message. New Yorkers want to bring an end to sex trafficking in all our communities. We encourage anyone who's been a victim of federal sex offenses or suspects such conduct to contact our office or our law enforcement partners. Okay, yada yada. Now we just get to here's everyone did great and kind of whatever the normal end of one of these sorts of statements. So at the end though, Tal, Orrin, and Alan are now found guilty. So I don't. I'm interested to see the shakeout of all these different things. I know I'm always kind of nothing's ever happened kind of guy. I'm always kind of like I don't really feel like. But we're in such a state where so much information has been released, such piecing together is happening, and let's be real. To some degree, it feels like the powers that be are, if anything, they're kind of pulling the veil back a little bit for us themselves. So, are we really not going to peak? I'm going to peak, and I'm looking forward to, to digging back more of the god-awful things that these people are doing, and hopefully we can use that in our ever fight against evil. And hopefully you guys will join me along the way. With that, we're going to end a little bit earlier today because I don't want to try to squeeze in the last segment and rush it. But with that, let's roll the chat one last time. Say our goodbyes. Any more good mornings I missed on the way out, and then we'll get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll try to be here on time. I probably won't. But with that, let's roll through the chat one more time. Say goodbye to everybody, and then we're going to... I do have a fun little outro for you guys, a classic video that many of you guys will recognize. But with that, let's roll the chat. Say hello. Fun times indeed. Good morning to you. This is nice bowl cut, dude. Thank you. Good morning, Stall. Good morning. Good morning. Sees Tom's not holding my breath on the ranch search. Yep. Good morning, Chuck Bam. Good to see you here. This is breaking news. Mothership UFO over Chicago. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tower Gang NPC. Good to see you here. Good morning. Good morning. Bug Fight's trying to start a tower. Oh my goodness. N, we got an I. This is on the Rumble side of things. YouTube, you'll have to start your own if you want one. G, we're halfway through and we're about to kill it. We're at the end. I got G. Good morning, or I already said good morning to you. It's retarded. Did the Colorado chick whack him or help him escape? I don't know what you're talking about. The Colorado chick Whack him. Who are you talking about, retardo? All right. We finished it. Marnamac with a G. We got aggressively agreeing with an E and an R. Did anyone double up on there? Oh, wow. I think that's an authentic tower. We got a bug fight. No repeats, I think. North side on the I. Tom33, Marnamac. Aggressively agreeing. God. Lowercase, but it counts. It's okay. It's a lowercase. It's fine. It's fine. So you completed a tower. Good job. Good job, Rumble. You guys beat the YouTube chat today. So congrats on that. But with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. I love you all. Please do the things to help the show. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment, all those good things. You can find the show on YouTube. You can find it Rumble. You can find it on all the major audio podcatchers. Just search for the Twitter. Search for the podcast, the No Way Jose podcast. That's no, and then way, and then comma, and then Jose, exclamation mark. So look for that. It's on Twitter. It's at Tower Gang Jose. That's the handle if you like to, for some reason, you like to watch it there. And if you want to support the show the best way you can do that with money. Leave 5-star reviews on Spotify, iTunes, all that. But if you want to help me in the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you access to early episodes. I try to do about 1 to 2 of those per week. Try to keep about 4 behind the paywall at any given time. I also give you guys access to the ad-free RSS feed, give you access to the Telegram, and give you access to pre-show, post-show, and video calls on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead, which is tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So join us there. We'll be talking about all the latest craziness in the past week. You guys can call into the show if you'd like. And if you're a patron, like I said, you get all those perks. You get to hang out in the private chat. You have your own exclusive chat. You could pop in the second half of the show on screen and all the like. And I also give it a big shout out to the highest level of my Patreon, which is my sponsors. It's a big thank you for their support. My previous co-hosts on Tower Gang, at Learned Toad, also at Abrogate D's, at ZLVRCK, at _Infinite Zeal, Tim Tuttle, at Jolly Long Klebold, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tackless, One Hair Car for Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, and Jacob Wintergrad of the Biblical Anarchy Podcast. And with that, guys, I got a fun little outro for you that I think you'll like. I don't know. This is one of those ones I know has internet lore to it, but I don't really know the internet lore. I see it show up every now and then. It makes me giggle. So I don't know if this was one of the OG YouTube videos or something, but I always see it do the rounds. It always makes me chuckle. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Feel free, if any of you guys know the lore on this specific video or whatever, comment it, let me know, or just comment in the live chat tomorrow. But I think this is the original. No, actually, I don't think it's the original post, but there is someone saying, I'm so stressed out from running my pet's lizard's Instagram account. I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. While this is a funny video, it seems prescient for today's world, because I do think this might be the new economic system we're going into, where all of you guys become online units like I am, scurrying for likes and shares, and or you get your lizard Instagram account, or your kitty cat's TikTok, or whatever the hell is your monetized online tokenized whatever the fuck nerd new world nonsense is. This makes sense now. But this is an old video, though. I think you guys will like it. Always makes me laugh. And I have a few more fun outros this week for you guys that you guys will like. But with that, guys, hang out tomorrow. I'll be here. But until the meantime, love you all. Have a good one. Show up tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Hang out with me in Austin. But we'll see you later.
I'm so fucking stressed out from running my pet lizard Instagram account. I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I told my therapist, she said, we'll take a break from your pet lizard's Instagram account. Source of income. I have to post a fucking photo of the lizard every day. Every fucking day. 4 or 5 reels with the lizard, playing with him, whipping his arms around in the air, throwing him around in my little tiny apartment. It smells like lizard piss. Oh man, the drugs I have to inject in that lizard just to wake it up, just to get it moving for the day. I've pumped all my money into this fucking lizard. My fans will comment stuff about how the work I'm doing is important, bringing the attention of the lizard community, or bringing the lizards Bringing the lizard to attention, lizard issues to the forefront. Piece of shit fucking lizard. I hate that fucking lizard.